Okay, to a story starting to get quite a bit of traction. Washington has accused China of seeking a geopolitical and economic confrontation with the U.S. in a scathing policy paper that also singles out Beijing for its, quote, authoritarian moves. The document puts another dent in an already battered relationship, with some saying it could bring about the start of a new type of Cold War. Maupin picks up the story.
The anti-China hysteria is growing. The latest move is the U.S. Senate approving legislation that would ban Chinese companies from being listed on U.S. stock exchanges and raising money from American investors.
I would not turn my back on the Chinese Communist Party if they were 2 days dead. They cheat, and I've got a bill to stop them from cheating.
U.S. leaders blame China for the coronavirus. Trump's latest tweets go as far as accusing China of mass killings around the world. This while China has just pledged $2 billion to the global efforts against the pandemic, hoping to increase international cooperation.
China will provide $2 billion over 2 years to help with the COVID-19 response and with economic and social development in affected countries, especially developing countries.
U.S. leaders slammed the move, saying it was not enough.
China's contributions to fighting the pandemic are paltry compared to the costs that they have imposed on the world. This plague has cost roughly 90,000 American lives. More than 36 million Americans have lost their jobs since March. Globally, 300,000 lives could be as much as $9 trillion, according to our estimates. Cost imposition on the world by the Chinese Communist Party's failures.
As rhetoric gets cranked up, phrases like Cold War are being thrown around.
Look, we are really on a Cold War footing when it comes to dealing with China.
There's other things we can use in foreign policy, sanctions and other things, diplomatic, economic. I think we're entering a new Cold War in many ways.
I think we have to be honest and call this what it is, and that this is the start of a new Cold War.
I don't want to have a Cold War with China. I would rather see us work together for the common good of the planet Earth. And we've tried, but that hadn't worked out real well.
U.S. media seems to be following the same script. Speculations about how far this will go keep popping up. Some say this will be disastrous for the global economy. Others are placing bets on winners and losers. Chinese leaders, in turn, are saying that they want peace and dialogue.
Both sides benefit from cooperation and stand to lose in confrontation. Decoupling and delinking is not a way out. We urge the U.S. to discard the outdated Cold War mentality and zero-sum thinking.
Beijing's calls are falling on deaf ears. A new poll shows that 1 in 3 Americans now views China as an enemy instead of a global community united to defeat the pandemic. We're now seeing blame and polarization rising very quickly.
This stereotype, in a certain sense, where China is this evil genius that is capable of creating this pathogen that invades and destroys America. And Trump even characterizes it as an attack that eclipses Pearl Harbor. But at the same time, there's this contrasting narrative that China's unable, China didn't do a good job managing it. You get this combination of evil genius and completely inept illegitimate government. It's really just opportunistically trying to exploit any kind of negative narrative that can be imagined and promoted as a conspiracy theory. Finally, to distract others from failures. In these cases, that's his central operating principle, is to blame others. Although I don't think we can really have a Cold War like before, I think people are imagining it and pushing us towards something like it. So it's deeply worrisome.